Oh, so there's this. And then
How many are in there?
I don't know. That one's smaller and lighter, and then there's like this guy.
So I looked it up on Amazon today. I saw it's only hardback to start, right?
Yeah. The um I don't know when paperback is it's a tricky thing when they decide to go paperback.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we'll see. So let me.
Yeah, it had an option on there to. Why, why are you showing me that?
Just,
Oh, that's your box opener.
so this is my gnome.
The old lucky gnome.
I cannot. I've been hardly able to do anything for the past like week because I knew that they were coming.
Waiting. And of course they come right now. You don't have to kill the boxes.
It's a lot of tape, and this gnome is not as good as I would hope he would be.
I'm excited.
Oh my god!
My hands are sweaty.
Wow.
So you haven't even seen a mock-up or anything?
I have, but that's it. So there it is.
But you haven't held anything physical.
No. That's it.
I totally studied that cover today on Amazon. I was checking it out, like the colors.
It's
that y'all chose.
Way cooler than I anticipated. It's got like this looks like archival paper. Like it looks like something that was from the 70s. It's got like water stains and oh my gosh.
What do you mean by the archival paper? Does it mean it's like rough?
Yeah, like that's probably not the right word. It like looks like period paper, like something out of an archive. I guess that's what I was thinking.
Okay.
This is so. I can't tell you what this.
I can't imagine.
I mean, wow.
Hold up the like. Let me see the insides. I want to see. Is that allowed?
Yeah.
I won't. Yeah.
There's that.
Okay.
Front cover.
Okay.
This is my least favorite part. I didn't want to do this, but.
Who is that guy?
I know. I really
love it.
Hated that idea, but.
I want to see a page. Let me just see the paper. I'm sure this is against the rules, but I don't care. You can be fast. Nice.
There's the first page.
So how many pages?
Good question. The book itself ends on 274. Then there's several pages that list like all the people who ever worked on the Freedom House ambulance.
Mm-hmm.
And then the crazy thing is the notes run from page 283 to page 316. I mean, it took me weeks to do this part.
I bet.
Because I went through every page and like cited every piece of information because I know, or my concern was people are going to be like, oh, well, you know, they didn't do this or that didn't really happen or, you know, this is an exaggerate. Like I mean, everything that took place has been like really, really meticulously noted and documented. Like I wanted to make sure that there was going to be no way for anyone to push back. And I know that there's going to be in the paramedic, and I'm cool with it because there's room for interpretation of various things. And I know within the paramedic community, there's going to be like, well, these guys did this in this year. But I make my case for why I made my case and I documented it. But I mainly, like a lot of it was like the way that they were treated. I wanted all of that to be so like cleanly and perfectly laid out so that that was airtight, that there was no way somebody could come back and say, well, the mayor wasn't really that way. It's like, well, here's his quote, like, take it for what you will. God, that's so exciting.
It
That's so
is so
exciting.
exciting. So that was just a bunch of research in old newspapers, or how did you research it?
A lot of it was a very explosive issue, starting with the mayor. There's almost nothing that exists in the news prior to his election. Immediately upon his election, it bursts out into the press because of his opposition to it. And the I guess where Freedom House got lucky and where I got lucky was that, they start working calls the week of the uprising following the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. So from April of 1968 until January of 1970, they're running calls in first two and then three different neighborhoods within Pittsburgh. So they've run thousands of calls over the span of, 2+ years. And people were well aware of what they were doing. So they were pretty well established when he began trying to dismantle the program. So there were both supporters within the community, both the medical community, the civic community, just people on the street. But there was also a fair amount of empirical data that suggested that what he was saying was wrong, and that was what made the fight so hard. Was because people literally, like, you could open the book and say, here it is, like, here's the evidence-based data that suggests what we're doing is effective, and he kept coming up with the reasons why it needed to be shut down. And that's what I think made everybody so angry. And that's when you reach that point. And, kind of go out of my way in the book not to say that Peter Flaherty is a racist. I went out of my way to say, like, here are his reasons for this. And here are why all those reasons are wrong. And here are similar sized cities who are doing this. And the only difference between, say, Columbus and Pittsburgh is that Columbus's EMS system, which, took quite literally took its cue from Freedom House. The only difference between those two cities is that Pittsburgh's ambulance service was run entirely by black guys.
Mm-hmm.
For them in the early 70s to still be saying that this was a controversial and hotly debated topic, false, like
Mm-hmm.
patently false at that point. And so, it's just, I don't know. But I wanted that really to be well documented because, there's kind of no other way to look at it. Like, you have to stare it in the face and say, I'm sorry, but, like, give me a better reason for why is it that you were spending more a year on dog catching than you were on ambulances?
Mm-hmm.
And that they were, like, I have that particular piece of information too. Like, why is it? What was the real reason for your reluctance or your ambivalence or your outright animosity? And it's kind of like, at some point, it's kind of hard to have another reason besides, like, those dudes are black.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad I was here when you received them.
I know. I know, you being a big book person. I know you appreciate. So
Oh, big time. And it's so cool to see the actual physical copy. I can't imagine. For me, even just looking at it, because I saw I could pre-order for a release date of like September, mid-September or something. I don't remember what it was, but
9/20, 9/20.
September 20th. Okay.
Yeah, the first event is September 21st at the Carter Center here in Atlanta,
Cool.
and then the next confirmed is the 26th in Los Angeles. So
Nice.
somewhere in between there. There's also going to be like Miami, DC, Pittsburgh, Boston, Chicago, Charleston. So there's like other spots.
I was talking to my girlfriend Cassie this morning about you, and I was telling her it's so cool that I'm catching you before you start doing all this because you're about to be really busy. I would assume.
Yeah, I think so. Between interviews and being on the road, and then I got to get out. I'm hoping to, when I'm in Los Angeles, to get a car and drive up to Sacramento because I'm working on the next book, and they've got a ton of stuff in their archive. So I got to get in there to work on that.
Are you saying what that one's about yet?
To you or to the world at large?
to the world.
Not to the world yet.
Okay, we'll wait.
I'm still wrapping my arms around it.
Well, we should just really also just be enjoying also the release of this one. So no rush.